Hey, everybody, and welcome to the True Crime Squad. This is Katie Weaver. I'm here with my sister, co host, and partner in crime, Kristi Brower. Hello.
Hello, hey everybody, happy Monday.
Here we are.
Are those two words that go together in the same sentence? I don't know.
I think so. I don't think I could take
Okay.
any more of this weekend. So
Yeah, me too.
we had too much fun. So
We did. It was time to get back to reality, at least a little.
a little rest, a little Tylenol, a little extra water, or a lot. We'll be okay.
It's true.
We had a wedding on Saturday. Our nephew Landon got married, and I officiated, and it was very fun. But oh man,
Lovely.
too many margaritas, and the kids, the younger people in our family. The wedding was at like what, 2:00, 3:00,
3.
and so then there was a nice luncheon, and there was all the regular things. There was a little dance. We were all done. We'd all had a few margaritas and whatnot, and we were done by like 7. It was time to go home. And all of the younger people in our family were like, okay, what's next? Let's go bar crawling. Let's go. They had all kinds of plans. And all of us were like,
We're going home.
Home to go to bed.
Yeah. We have become the boring old people. We used to be the young partiers, and now we are the old people, because I was like, oh no, I have to go home. I am very done.
We are so lame. Matea talked Scott and I into going to happy hour at about 9:45 at Applebee's. But
Really?
yeah, but I drank water. I'm like, I'm done. Anyway,
I didn't even drink any alcohol at that wedding, and I was done at 7:00, so I can't imagine.
It's just a big day. It was a beautiful wedding. We're so proud of them. It was awesome.
Yes, it was. It was a cool day.
Yeah. And then last night, our dear cousin Amy, who's more like a sister to us, is in town. So we had a chance to have dinner with her and play cards, and we had a blast. It's always so fun.
I'm a little hoarse, and I realize it's because I laughed so hard when we were partying it up at the wedding last night with Amy. We had so much fun, and now I'm like, oh, a little
me
hoarse.
Too. I had almost beat this chronic cough, and it's back.
Uh-oh.
Coughing and hoarse and headachy, and yeah, you pay to play. That's the thing.
It's true.
But I think we have nothing at all to complain about.
Not in the least, no. Also, welcome my kitty Mimi to the show. My cats, ever since I got this new chair, I have this awesome new chair here in my office, and now all they want to do is just be in here because it's their chair, obviously. I don't actually own anything in my own house. It all belongs to my cats.
Oh, I hear this. Yeah. Last night we stopped by Ross on our way home. See, this is it. See, Matea's home, and she is wearing me out because it is nonstop something going on. And so she wanted to stop at Ross and look at their Halloween stuff. And there's a dog bed in my office behind my chair that is little. It's like a little tiny donut bed for my little tiny chihuahuas, But our Basset puppy and Luca, our bigger chihuahua, it's ridiculous for them. And it really only fits one little chihuahua, and, it's a thing. There's always a hassle over this bed in here. So Matt grabbed this much bigger, foofy, soft, pink donut bed, thinking, she goes, let's put this in your office and see if it makes the dogs a little happier. Oh, no, it did not.
Really?
Luca took one look at that bed this morning and claimed it as his. It was the cutest thing. I should have taken a video. He leaped into the middle of it and started doing all of this, foofing it up and rolling around in it and like making it his. I was like, is pink your favorite color? Do you never think you have your own bed? Like, what is this? But then every time anyone else tried to get into it, he was naughty to him. And it's big enough for 2 dogs at least. And
Mhm.
anyway, finally, the puppy managed to sneak up in there and cuddle up next to him, and they slept for a while, but Luca has claimed that bed. It was
Oh,
so
that's awesome.
cute. All
How
of
cute.
the foofing it up and biting at it and flipping it around and laying on it and rolling all over. Yeah, it was very cute.
How sweet. I'm
So,
glad my son has decided to come in and out of my house about 14 times while we're recording. If you can hear my friend, it's very old and squeaky. I'm like, what is he doing? He just keeps opening and closing it, opening it.
just seeing how squeaky that hinge is.
Very squeaky.
Also, WD-40.
Yeah, I know. Now I'm like, okay.
It's a thing.
That's what I'm going to do.
My office store does that too. I hear you. Anyway, so I got on Amazon this morning and ordered another dog bed for
Problem
my
was not
office.
yet solved. Oh, that's
For the
funny.
love. There's more beds for dogs in this house than for people.
Well, I mean, there are more dogs in your house than there are people, so
Well, this is true. Anyway, so yeah, we had a great weekend. But we have another wedding this afternoon for another cousin, and I'm officiating. And then on Saturday, we have another wedding with the cousin, and I'm officiating.
does it
Family,
sound
are
at
you
all
getting
familiar
sick of
to
me
anyone
yet?
else?
I'm sick of me.
I mean, I just have to attend them. I don't even have to officiate them. So, I mean, I'm good with that. I'm
I don't
good with
mind
being
it.
on the spectator side of things.
I don't mind it at all. I really don't at all. It's fun. But anyway, but 3 in like 8 days like this is kind of bananas. And these are all like
Mhm,
different sides of our family. So it's not like,
mhm,
we're talking about, family spread. We have a huge family. And so,
mhm.
it's not like it's all the exact same people, but my goodness. Anyway,
No,
I should be
we're
saving
from
my
old
voice.
Mormon polygamous stock, if that tells you anything. We have a huge family.
Yes.
You look at our 23 and me, you don't even want to know. You don't want to know.
Well, 23andMe has been interesting, right? Because I get messages from people frequently that are like, I think I'm related to you, maybe through this line, because 23andMe is saying y'all are related. And I,
Yeah,
we are. And they're people I've never met before.
but there was polygamy on both sides of
Hmm.
our family.
Yeah.
Both parents had polygamist ancestors. So,
Hmm.
yeah, it's it's a lot. It's just a lot.
So go family, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to show you a picture from the first wedding of my vestiges that we embroidered. You'll only see part of them, but
Yes, so
yeah,
pretty.
isn't that cute? We did that on the
Mhm.
embroidery machine, and I'm so happy with it. So
Yeah,
pretty
it
fun.
looks beautiful.
Look at that, a double look at my face. Sorry about it.
Do a side by
Well, we do have plenty of crime to talk about today and
we
some pretty
genuinely do.
interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm going to turn the mic over to you to get us kicked off with some racial injustice.
yes. I think we need an intro for just hate crime, which I hate to even say, but we do.
Hmm.
This gorgeous man right here is O'Shea Sibley. You have
Oh,
probably
yeah.
heard about O'Shea's murder,
Hmm.
but I wanted to talk about it because it's one of the things that's happening in this country right now that is it's just dumbfounding to me. And I think we have to keep talking about these things until we figure out how to stop them from happening.
Hmm.
This happened in New York, and it happened at a Brooklyn gas station. O'Shea and his friends had been to the beach for a birthday party, and they were just living life, having a great day. They were on their way home and had stopped for gas. So while one person was pumping gas, a Beyonce song came on. And so O'Shea and his friends, O'Shea, by the way, is a dancer and choreographer,
Yeah.
started dancing to Beyonce at a gas station, as you do. I mean, who hasn't busted out some moves or sang part of a song in public before? They just were having a great day.
Well, and especially him
And they
because he
were
was a
happy.
performer. Yeah.
Right. He's a
And just
dancer. And
loved
they
what
were
he did. Yeah.
He was just feeling joy that day. So, of course, what had to happen, because apparently this is just where we are now, is that 3 people came out of the gas station store and started yelling homophobic and anti-Black slurs at these guys.
Mhm.
And, O'Shea tried to just de-escalate the situation. He said, "You don't know us. We're just having a good time and enjoying our lives. It's all respect. We're all allowed to be here just like you. Like, just
Mhm.
move it along. It's
Leave us
fine.
alone. Yeah.
We're just having fun.
Yeah.
So 2 of the men left, but a 17-year-old boy stayed and was recording this situation on his phone and continuing to yell racist and homophobic slurs at O'Shea and his friends.
Recording it
So
because obviously somebody was gonna be proud of him for this
for
behavior.
this,
He
right?
was
Like he
sharing
wanted
this.
this on video, which is
Mhm.
unfathomable to me.
Mhm.
So O'Shea and 2 of his friends step up to this kid and they're like, let's just stop. Let's just stop. And so the kid recording pulls a knife out of his pocket and he's pointing and threatening one of O'Shea's friends.
Mhm.
And then, for reasons I think no one will ever know, he stabbed O'Shea in the chest and punctured his heart and killed him.
Yep.
1 stab.
1 stab.
O'Shea fell into the arms of his friend Otis Pena. It was Otis's birthday. They had been celebrating
Oh.
his birthday, and then he held his friend as his friend bled out and died. And he said, one of the things that Otis said is he had lost the one thing he had closest to his heart, his friend. And then he said, just because he's trying to let people know that we're gay, we exist, we don't disrespect. Like, we're not hurting you. You don't have to hurt us. Leave us alone.
Right. Yeah.
So O'Shea died at a medical center after, but I mean, his heart was punctured. He bled out. There was nothing they could do. And so this teenager is 17 years old.
Yeah.
He is charged as a juvenile offender, but he is charged with a hate crime.
Yeah.
So he has what's called a juvenile offender status. And in Brooklyn, that means that status is reserved for minors who are charged with very serious crimes.
Mhm.
And so it basically means they can treat him as an adult defendant.
It's kind of, and maybe this is New York law, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure, but in other states, this kid would just be charged as an adult. He's 17
Right,
and
right.
he committed murder. It's kind of surprising to me, and I wonder if it is New York law and that's why, but,
Apparently it is, or at least it must be that
mhm.
there's a designation for minors who have committed very serious crimes. So
We've
he is
seen
charged with,
12-year-olds charged as adults. I'm amazed
we
that he's
have,
not, but yeah.
we have. I am too, but I think this is just their New York's version of that. So he is charged with 9 counts, 2 counts of second-degree murder as a hate crime, second-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree manslaughter as a hate crime, first-degree manslaughter, fourth-degree criminal possession of a weapon, second-degree menacing, and second-degree aggravated harassment. So the reason for all those double counts of hate crime related murder and manslaughter is because they're running with 2 different legal theories. Um,
Mhm.
you know, of intentional murder and depraved indifference, and
Mhm.
because of the elevated hate crime charge. So
Yeah.
we see this often. It's kind of become a very common thing that the district attorney will charge someone with everything that they think they can prove.
Mhm.
And then ultimately that will be whittled down when it
Yeah.
comes to actual, trial time or
Mhm.
pleadings or whatever. If he's found guilty of the highest charge, he faces between 20 and 25 years to life in prison.
Mhm.
He has pled not guilty at this point. The district attorney says we are going to stand up for Mr. Sibley for the right he has to dance, to be exuberant of the right that he had not to stop dancing because it offended someone else.
Yeah. This kid was 17. Who taught him this hate? Where did it come from?
And it was so horrible to him that he couldn't have just walked away.
Right. But he was filming, which means this was for the gram. This was for the clicks.
This was for
this
attention.
Was to show off. Yep.
Yeah. Well, and the other people with him were like, it's not worth it, and left.
Right.
But this kid stayed and killed somebody.
Unbelievable.
I mean, this is where we are now. If you disagree with someone for dancing at the gas station, you murder them.
And I've seen some apologists that are like, well, O'Shea and his friend should have never approached him. They were, they were trying to attack him. They were part of the problem.
No, they weren't.
How many cheeks do other people have to turn when you are harassing them, insulting them, threatening them? And the videos just don't show that at all.
They don't. It kills me. They were trying to talk to him. Like, dude, we have every right to be here just like you do. Yeah. You don't have to stand here and watch us. You can leave, trying to have a rational conversation in which they stood up for themselves, which they certainly had every right to do. And that's certainly O'Shea did not have to die for that.
That's it. They had every right to stand up for themselves. They had every right to approach this kid and tell him to knock it off and leave them alone. Why didn't they? Why didn't they have the right to do that? It kills me when stuff like this happens, particularly with people of color, that there are always the people out there that go, wow, but what did they do wrong? They didn't do a damn thing wrong.
Absolutely nothing.
No.
They were just existing, being joyful and happy after a fun day, enjoying their friend's birthday.
No, disgusting.
And now O'Shea is gone.
All the love to O'Shea's friends and family. Yep.
Yeah, and poor Otis, my God, and their other friend that was there. I cannot imagine being present for the murder of your friend. So we'll keep an eye on this case. You may notice I didn't say the name of the offender. I'm not going to. He's a minor. There's a lot of questions about his ethnicity and religious affiliation, and I don't care. None of it matters. No. None of it matters. What matters is that O'Shea had every right to dance at the gas station.
Yep.
With that, Katie, I'm going to kick the mic back to you for our main case.
Okay. Every once in a while, a case comes across my desk or my feed that just really makes me laugh. Or just gets my interest because, in the true crime world, it seems like more often than not, we're reporting on murders. And I really like it when I get to report on something that's not a murder, but that's of interest. So I would like to introduce you to Alan Todd May.
Wow. His teeth are very white.
Very white, indeed. This bloated sack of day-old white bread
oh boy,
has done a lot of stuff. He's from Texas. And his crimes started a long time ago, like back in the 80s, with bad checks and fraud and various issues that culminated in 2012 to a period where he was arrested and charged with a Ponzi scheme that defrauded people out of somewhere around $7 million.
Oh, good Lord.
And he was convicted and sentenced to 20 years in federal custody and was placed in a prison in Texas initially, a BOP, as they call it, Bureau of Prisons. And he was there until 2018. And in January of 2018, he was transferred to Littleton, Colorado, to a BOP there. And he was a prisoner there until December of 2018. And one day, somehow, Alan just managed to get in a truck there, a prison facilities truck, and drive away.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And there's still some real questions about how that happened.
Yeah. How did he do that without any help?
Did he have help? That part's pretty quiet. And if they do know, we don't know. But what we do know is that he slipped away and that they think he was gone 24 to 48 hours before the marshals were alerted.
What?
Hmm. So he had a really good head start.
He had to have had some help on the inside. How were they not alerted for that long?
Finally, there was some prison head count, and they realized, oh, where's this bitch? He's not here. So that's where it started.
Oh boy.
So, Alan basically said, catch me if you can. And the marshal said, bet, Alan. So
Hmm.
a search ensues. Well, they discover that he did rent a U-Haul. And at some point along his path, he left that, abandoned it behind a Waffle House, as you do, apparently. And
I mean, it kind of tracks, but okay.
the next day, he was spotted at his mother's house in Texas. And then he's just vanished into
Okay, we're
thin
not talking
air,
about a criminal mastermind here. If you went immediately to his mother's house.
right? But then, poof, he was gone. And from 2018, clear until July of 2023, well, May of 2023, nobody knew where he was.
Wow.
In the meantime, though, the prison made some discoveries that were pretty eye opening. And that's that while in prison, Todd managed to defraud a bunch of companies, or actually, well, people and companies, out of about $700,000 in prison.
Wow. Oh my
How
God.
did he do it? Well, he had discovered that there are a bunch of oil and gas securities that have not been dispersed to the correct people that are being held. So he just made a bunch of little shell companies and set himself up as the representative for these folks who were owed this money and just started claiming it right and left.
Oh, that little shit.
Hmm. And did have some friends on the outside a friend who was helping deposit that money and move it into an account for him. So when he escaped, he had about $250,000 to work with, and maybe more. We just don't know. Obviously, the money that he'd stolen in the Ponzi scheme had been seized and all of his assets, but what
Hmm.
if he had more money stowed away some other way?
Seems
Uh,
like the kind of guy who would.
he did. Hmm. Because of what happened when they discovered him.
Mm.
So, how did this epic fool get caught? Well, of course, this had been circulated all over the place from the marshals, uh,
Hmm.
looking for him, and they were offering a $5,000 reward. And there were people looking for him and watching for him. There are online sleuths that will look at, go to the wanted pages for various, entities like the marshals, and they look for those rewards and they do their work and see if they can find them. And sometimes they do and they get paid. Well, there was an anonymous tipster who they'd received tips from a lot of different states, but there was an anonymous tipster who had sent some tips over to the FBI thinking that, or to the marshals thinking that he was in Florida.
Mm. Of course. Florida seems like the right place for him.
Uh huh. Well, Todd, I keep calling him Todd. His name's Alan. Alan
I know
Todd.
why you're calling him Todd. Wink, wink.
I know. Alan, or shall we say Jacob Turner at this point,
Oh.
was living large in Florida, not even really trying to hide. And there was a picture of him
Oh boy.
published, hmm uh, not too long ago. This is what's so funny. So this was in some kind of a high society page in Fort Lauderdale. He was at a suicide awareness banquet. Uh, just so you know, he did pledge $100,000 to them that he didn't pay. Uh,
Oh, what an ass.
mhm. He's quite the guy.
Mhm.
And so somebody sent this picture, the same tipster. over to the marshals and went, "Look, here he is. He's here." So they got a bead on who his partner was, and they had been watching them. They were living in a penthouse in Florida, and they watched they were just getting their ducks in a row and getting ready to move on them. They watched the partner rent a U-Haul, and then they watched that U-Haul pull into this beautiful, beautiful property in Fort Lauderdale, a $1.5 million property
Oh, jeez.
that I am assuming they purchased because it was for sale.
Mm-hmm.
And as they were moving in, guess who walked out the front door? So they arrested him. There's a man that has commented on a couple of articles on Facebook that I sent a message to, but I didn't hear back from him. So I guess I won't get to, at least when, as far as this broadcast is concerned, but he said he was one of the movers. And that
Oh.
he said that the marshals moved in like absolute ninjas. And before he knew what was happening, one of them had pinned him against the truck and then scooted the movers out of the way, and that they took him
Mm-hmm.
in without incident. I just wanted to ask him, like, what was Alan's demeanor? Was he
Yeah. What was his response?
was he crying? Please tell me he was crying.
I mean, he's dumb enough to get his picture in the society pages when he's a fugitive from prison like that?
And really hadn't changed his appearance all that much. I mean, this is the picture.
No.
This picture was taken of him when he was before he was arrested in 2011 or 2012, or when he was arrested in
Mm-hmm.
2012. And this is him now. I mean, he really didn't go to any lengths to make himself look all that different.
I think
Maybe
that dude's
colored
got
his
high
hair
blood
a
pressure
little
or
bit.
something. His
Yeah,
face is so red.
gained a little weight probably, but it's not like he had gone way out of his way to change his appearance. He hadn't.
No.
So here he is.
Oh, that's a much better picture of him.
Yeah,
Okay.
here he is getting arrested. He was driving a high-end Mercedes, wearing a Rolex, and just living it up. So
For
authorities are
other people's
saying,
money.
who else has this guy defrauded? Because he had way more
Right.
money. That $250,000 that he, or that $750,000 that he had, um,
Oh, he
got
flipped
him.
that into a whole lot more for sure.
Yeah, yeah. So they're looking now into his what he was doing in Florida because they don't know for sure who else he may have defrauded while he was there. Because this guy is just a serial con man,
Mm-hmm.
and we're not talking nickels and dimes, man. Millions of
No.
dollars.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is some hubris right there. Wow.
Right? Now, he had a LinkedIn in the name of
Mm.
Jacob Turner. And on his LinkedIn, he said that he was a professional mediator, which is true, as it
Is
turns
he
out.
actually like trained? Is he a trained mediator?
He did. He
Wow.
took mediation training in prison.
Of course he did. Of course he did. He knows how to profit off of absolutely every experience in his life.
Yep. Hmm.
Oh, that's funny.
But I was thinking about that. Okay, so professional mediator, and he's trying to be this high society, high end guy. So he's probably trying to mediate for like big time divorces, medical claims, businesses,
Big
things like
money
that,
deals.
and
Yeah.
getting some knowledge of and his foot in the door of these people and their financial situations, and then finding a way to profit off of them. That's my
Mhm.
theory. It's not founded. It's just my theory, but
Oh, you know it is though.
mhm,
Oh, I wonder if
yep.
anybody ever looked up his certification. That is funny.
Just prison.
Yeah.
So now this was on the Marshals Twitter because, of course they're celebrating. I'm going to
Right.
guess that their tipster got that 5K, so good on them.
Right. I sure hope they did. They certainly earned it.
Absolutely. So, Alan, I hope you have the day you deserve. He is still in Florida, but they said the extradition back to prison will probably take around 30 days. But now, of course, he's facing a whole bunch more charges. So that 20 years he was going to serve, and he'd served about 7 of them when he was arrested.
Oh boy.
That's going to be a lot more now. So,
Yeah. I'm sure they've only scratched the surface on what kind of crimes he's committed since he's been out.
oh,
Like,
I can only imagine. There's probably so much more to come. So,
jerk.
it also made me wonder about the partner. Now, they haven't named the partner. We don't know who the partner is. And I did read one article that said that picture that I showed you at that event, they did speak to that person and they were unwilling to speak to them. So I don't know who that
Oh,
person is. I don't know the situation behind the partner or if the partner had any idea who this guy is. I think it's
may have had
very
no
likely that
clue.
they didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he is a
Wow.
true schemer. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Well, with that, I'm going to kick the mic back over to you for some Florida Man.
Yeah. Even in Florida, sometimes people get it right.
Mhm,
Recently, a man was lauded as a local hero
mhm.
for uh, busting some sex trafficking that was going on in his hotel where he worked.
Wow.
So I'm going to show you a picture of Ricardo Flores and Maria Barrios Calero. These are the asshole sex traffickers who are no longer on the street, thanks very much to a very smart hotel manager. So, um, Ricardo Flores rented a room in this hotel,
Hmm.
and Richard Barron, he was actually the owner of the motel, he heard kind of a suspicious argument happening between these two individuals. After only about 30 minutes after the man had checked in, he heard some arguing going on. Uh,
Hmm.
he knocked on the hotel room door, which I thought, people a lot of times ignore these things, and it was good on him
Hmm.
he did.
Right.
So Flores opens the door, and there are two young girls sitting on the bed. Next to them is a condom.
Oh.
And he's immediately like, what the hell? And then Calero, the woman, says to him, he has to pay. He didn't pay. This is the argument they're having is over money. So he sees the
Oh
condom,
my
sees the girls,
God.
he's like, holy shit, what is going on here? So he will not let them leave, and he calls the
Mhm.
police. And the police come, and hey, guess what? Those girls were being trafficked to that man, and they were having an argument. Flores and Clara were having an argument because he was trying to not pay for them. But thank God this man at the hotel heard the argument, knocked on the door, recognized the situation for what it was, did not let them leave, called the police, saved the girls. The cops arrested them. Done
Mhm.
deal. So they are in jail. He is being held on a
Wow.
$750,000 bond. She is being held on a $500,000 bond. All I have to say is thank God that this person
Mhm.
spoke up, saw
Uh-huh.
something, heard something, did something about it. And can
Mhm.
you imagine how many more children will be protected by the fact that these two idiots are off the street?
Yeah. Wow.
Because
Well,
this is
good on
really how
him.
sex trafficking happens in the United States. It's
Yep.
shit like this.
Yep. And
So good on him.
unfortunately,
He is a
those 2
local
little
hero.
girls probably weren't kidnapped. They were
Mm,
probably offered by their parents who were getting paid. We don't know
yeah,
that for sure. We'll probably never know because a lot of these things, that's part of the problem is that because we're dealing with juveniles and obviously these kids should be protected, but because we're dealing with juveniles, a lot of times this side of the story never gets told.
right.
And because it's all sealed and under wraps, but this was likely a parental involvement.
Right. These are the kinds of things that happen all the time. The children
Hmm.
would have just been returned home after their assault.
Yep.
So
Until, their John or Jane, as it were, in this case, has another paying customer for them.
Right. But I think that it stands to reason to say that don't be afraid to be nosy. Don't be afraid to get into somebody else's business,
Mm.
And of course, at your own safety. But how many times have you heard an argument in a hotel and nobody knocked on the door to see if everybody was okay?
Right.
This guy did and saved those girls.
Huge. Good. We need so many more of these stories, and we need them to be louder and more broadcast so that other people have the courage, and also that they're paying attention enough.
And just the awareness.
Recognize what's happening.
Be like, oh, so if I hear somebody arguing in a hotel, it might not just be a domestic situation, which should still be checked on. But it could be something completely nefarious like this.
More sinister. Maybe this exists, so maybe I'm blowing smoke, but there should be a training program for hotel employees and owners and managers on trafficking, what it looks like, what to watch for, what to do. I mean, that needs to happen in a lot of different things like sports venues and a lot of other areas as well, but hotels are huge for this.
They are. Yeah. And I'm sure there is some training for it, but I would imagine that this is something that should be mandatory.
Yeah.
In every hotel, every employee should know the signs to look out for and, have policies about what they do, If you hear an argument, do you knock on the door? Yes, you do. But these idiots, I mean, they let him in. He sees the whole scenario. She turns to him and says, he's refusing to pay me. Like, that's how bold they were. They weren't even trying. They could have not answered the door.
Which tells you how many times they've done stuff like this.
Yes.
That they were that comfortable. Yep.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, all the love in the world to those little girls, and I hope that they get safe and get the help that they're going to need after an experience like this, and who knows how many more. And I hope these assholes stay in prison forever.
Me too. Forever.
All right. Well, there you have it. That is Monday. That was quite the episode.
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So, as always, if you see something, say something. We'll be back tomorrow with a brand new episode. We'll be back Wednesday night with Wednesday night case updates. So there's still so much more to come.
There sure is.
Be good to yourselves. Have fun. We got to go to a wedding. So we'll see you soon.
Imagine. Bye, everybody.
Then yet another production of the True Crime Squad.